All right, so the title of this is Interviewing Women at Black Women's March. Now, I'm really curious as to what they say, what they talk about. I'm pretty sure just like, because it's a march, obviously, there's going to be, hey, we're underrepresented of this, we're, not considered much of this. I want to know if they're going to have the same talking points out here, just, with variety of people, obviously, as they do within, like, social media and the black sector of any of it. Like, we're not protected or the most disrespected. I want to see if they do that and how this guy responds. Not really, because I want to do my own responding. But that's what I'm looking for within this video. All right, let's go.
Why are we out here today?
Just protesting for black women, standing up for black women. I'm a black woman. We're always underrepresented, so just want to come out and show my support.
And you have a shirt here. It says, what, melanated and educated?
Yep.
And on the back of your jacket, it says, melanin, honey, shea butter magic. What does all that mean?
Black girl magic.
Black girl magic? What kind of magic do you possess?
Educated magic.
Educated.
Oh my God. Listen, this is my problem generally with black people, but more specifically, since we're talking about them in this video, black women. When you do all this, hey, look at me, look what I do, and then when somebody questions you about what you just said, oh, whack-ass answer, empty answer, non-answer. Generally, black people, you're not doing yourself a favor when you do this. I really have this problem when I watch somebody named Jeffrey, that comedian on DJ Vlad. I haven't watched that channel in quite some time, but he actually used to piss me off all the time. Because he does the typical, we're the greatest of this, we're the greatest of that, or da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then, like, somehow we're being held down according to the same guy, and it's like, are we great or not? Like, how come we can overcome this shit? Like, tell me.
What does that mean?
Even though I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, you can
I'm sorry.
call me Harriet, because I'm always coming back.
I don't know. I don't do this. I'm sorry.
What's up, guys? Nuance Bro checking in. We're here at the state capitol in Sacramento, California at the Black Women's March. Let's go talk to people, see what's going on. So we're here at the Black Women's March, obviously, as opposed to the regular Women's March. So why the difference there? Why are we doing a specifically Black Women's March?
Because there's a difference between being a woman and being a black woman, as opposed to being like a white woman, and they're able to kind of benefit from white privilege, pretty much, and black women aren't. There's a difference there. Intersection.
All right, I'm confused so far. That statement, what she says, we don't have, the white women have a more of a privilege, the white privilege that black women don't have. Okay. So, why do they tag team with them at all then? Why? Why, if white women have that privilege, why do they have feminism at all then? Because she has yet to answer or give a clear answer. Again, this educated thing. Can't say that, claim that, and never give a clear answer to any question ever at all, especially a simple question. So what struggle do you have that's different than white women, where you need to claim all this stuff?
Sure, intersectionality. So what kind of specific issues are black women facing disproportionately that you feel like other groups are not necessarily facing as bad?
It's just everything.
Oh. She sounded like she was finna give an answer, so I'm going to play it again, but it's just... You're at this event. Why don't you have this together? You're at this event. If I go to a guns rights event, I'm going to have a lot better chance at answering these questions. How are you this unprepared?
Underrepresented, not,
What? Underrepresented in what exactly? And what? You're what percent? This is my problem when people at all claim this representation thing. If you are dominating in one field and it's a field you like, a really good field, are you going to then scale back? Do we need programs to go the other way then? No, and I'm betting because they've been in the league for so long. Just let us have the lead for a minute. Dude, that again, black people, if you think this way, that is incredibly pathetic. Pathetic way of thinking. Either you're going to have equal footing in this or not.
Especially in the workplace, like I work with all men, white men pretty much, and the white women, they, in the job place, I feel like they are accepted more than black women. We're always targeted as like the angry black woman because we show emotion, but when they show emotion.
You know what? Listen, this statement, this idea of, we get called angry black women simply because we show emotion. Okay, fine. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say you get called angry or the angry black woman partially or in huge part because you have just the stigma itself. Just the stigma itself. Wouldn't it be a little more rational to try to address it in a way that eases, brings people expectations a little bit away from that, as opposed to doing some brute force, do it anyway, and then just cry, it's unfair. When the numbers are stacked against you, you play your certain whatever role it is, and you beat it from within. Especially when you don't have the numbers on your side.
Just because they're passionate, so there's a difference.
Sure. So, as far as like the disparity, are there certain industries you're talking about that black women are very underrepresented in, and why do you think that is? Do you think it's primarily due to discrimination?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
So, I'm sure you're thinking of certain industries where black women are more underrepresented than other ones. And do you think that disparity is due primarily to discrimination? And what industries are you talking about specifically?
I work in like the transportation industry, so that's one place that it is. I think it's pretty. I want to say.
How the fuck do you say the Where? That can be Uber. That can be truck driver. That can be limo driver. What transportation? And what do you? That's the same thing when dudes be like, I work in tech. Nigga, what part of it? Do you do software engineering? Do you do some sort of infrastructure thing? What do you do? I work in tech. What the fuck is that? I hate people with these answers that mean nothing.
Well, I guess it could be discrimination, but people are just, they kind of go towards what other people look like, and when they're hiring and stuff like that, they kind of hire what looks like them. So that is a form of discrimination.
So, like, for example, when it comes to...
What's wrong with that discrimination, though? Now, I'm probably pausing this way too much because this is a 30-minute video. But what part of... Why is that automatically a bad thing? Don't black people all the time say support black businesses, hire black people? Like, why is it so important that if we want to claim that we're together in the community and all this stuff, that then they must give us stuff? They must accept us. They must include us. Why do we keep doing this? Make us the president. Make us the vice president. Yes, the white people finally gave us stuff. Like, how do you not feel? How do you still feel rah 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 after that? How do you still claim to be the greatest and all this after that when you only get something because they gave it to you? How? How does this not fuck with your mind, your ego? This doesn't make sense to me.
Computer engineering jobs, there's not a lot of women, period, let alone black women. Right. Do you think that's due to discrimination or because black women aren't, going to college for that specific type of degree? And because if there's not enough coming out of college with those types of degrees, they can't hire people if those people don't exist?
That too, and from a young age, they're not taught about STEM and stuff like that in schools. That's not, something that's in the elementary schools and the high.
Why is this their point when they bring this up? She's probably going to explain it, which, again, I should probably stop pausing it so much, but why is this always brought up? Oh, women aren't pushed into STEM. Well, excuse me, aren't y'all the same group of people who complain about getting pushed to do shit? Aren't y'all the same group of people who say, fuck what everybody says to do, I want to do what I want to do, including killing your baby and shitting into a bag? Aren't you the same people who claim that you don't want to be pushed to do shit? Now, well, just push us to do these jobs. No, fuck you. You do what you want to do. Now you want people to push you to do everything?
Schools and they're not talking. I know I wasn't when I went to I went to college obviously, but that wasn't something like STEM wasn't talked about. So
what did you major in?
I majored in family and consumer science.
And was something in like the STEM field something that you wanted to pursue? But
who the fuck talks about family and consumer science, dude? Nobody talks about STEM when you're in elementary. Fine. Granted, agreed. Kind of. Because I know some teachers tell you about certain stuff, but it's not a regular discussion point. So, fine, I'll give you that. But, nigga, neither is family and consumer, whatever the fuck she just said. That's not talked about in elementary school. How'd you get there? Why? Because it sounds like something you can do, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Oh, but it's because they didn't push you. Sure.
That you were like prevented from it?
I'm not necessarily saying that I wanted to pursue it, but I think if it was like maybe presented to me like at a young age, then that would probably be something that I probably would have went towards.
So why are we out here today?
We're here to support.
Here's the problem with that argument of push, push, push. Here's another problem with it, as I should say. If you start with the underrepresented, right? Okay, let's say we do what you want us to do. You suggest we do, and push girls from an early age to go into STEM. Now, who's going to be underrepresented in STEM? Men. Do you want to go backwards on this? This is stupid thinking. That people ought to just do everything in their power to make you great. What? Can I ask you people a question who think this way? Why is it never your family? Why is this not your family's job? Why is it everybody else's? Why is it everybody else's job to make sure that you're great, but not your family? Why do you need everybody else outside of them to do this? Your family sucks, but yet everybody else is supposed to be awesome? The fuck out of here.
Black women all across California and all across the nation. The same unity, unite, inform.
So obviously the Women's March happened earlier this year, I think January, February or so. Why the difference with this event, the Black Women's March?
I think that while feminism is really big and really important here in America, for some reason Black women's voice is not heard as loud as, the rest of the population of women here in America. So it is.
Oh my, what? It's not heard as loud. Y'all get every fucking thing you asked for. Everything you asked for. Nobody can say shit about you. Lonnie Love stay talking shit. But can somebody talk about her? Come on, can anybody talk about how big she is? Can anybody talk about her fucking hair? Can anybody talk about how unattractive she is? But she stay talking shit about everybody else. And then got the nerve to cry half the damn time when she is addressed. Fuck out of here.
Only fit to have a separate march as well, in addition to kind of support and have our voice heard.
Sure. And what are some specific issues that you feel like black women in particular face disproportionately compared to other communities?
Oh, well, right now the slogan, I think, is "Can I Live?" And I mean, there's a poster over here showing how many black women alone were killed, I think, locally here in Sacramento by the police. So that's obviously a big thing.
And you feel like all of those cases were unjustified?
I'm not sure about all the cases, but for my personal experience, I'm sure that most of them are unjustified. Also, I'm sure,
Most of them? How many black women do you personally know that die due to cops in Sacramento? All that many women you personally know have run-ins with cops? Really? What kind of people do you know? What kind of people do you hang around? We're supposed to ignore that and just go right to the cop killing and say most of them were unjustified because one chick hang around a bunch of people who keep getting into run-ins with cops. Okay.
Under education, a lot of black women are not educated about birth control, are not educated about, higher education, employment resources. So that's why you see all the people here today kind of supporting giving all those resources to anyone that does not know about them.
Birth control, again, your fucking mother, your aunt, your grandmother, your older sister. Why aren't they teaching you about birth control? You need a woman's march for that? And then uneducated, what else did she say? Damn, let me go back. Employment. Educated about employment? You don't know you need a job? Or let me guess, this is another STEM thing, right? Again, they really just listed off a bunch of stuff that your family should really be responsible for. This is not something you take to a woman's march and say, look what y'all should march in your neighborhoods. That's where you should march, not wherever the hell this is. Because nobody's job is with the stuff y'all asking for so far in this video. This is not everybody else's job. I don't know these women. This shit ain't my job. These resources ain't my job. Ain't my responsibility. So go home, get on the streets of your own block, your own neighborhood, and talk this shit to them. Because they're the ones who's fucking up. Not everybody else outside of it.
Resources, so that's why you see all the people here today kind of supporting giving all those resources to anyone that does not know about them.
So one thing that was big at the Women's March was these pink pussy hats. I don't think I've seen a single one today. Why is that?
I think that was more of the feminist women's march thing.
That was their symbol.
That was their symbol. I think for black women, their symbols probably will be the hand, the black power hand.
And you see a lot of natural hair. You've seen that.
Right. You see a lot of the African colors. I think that's more prominent than just the pink pussy hat. Yeah.
And I saw your jacket. I saw someone else wearing something. It says, "I am Black Girl Magic." I don't. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
It's magical to be a black and a woman, especially here in America, and especially at the Capitol. We are blessed to be able to live in the city where the Capitol actually is, and we can come to participate places like this. So a friend of mine has a clothing line and made this jacket.
What question was just asked there? Can anybody remember? What question was just asked? Did I hear it wrong? Because I could have sworn he asked about Black Girl Magic. First of all, if you are Black Girl Magic or you have Black Girl Magic, you can't say both of them are acceptable things to say, because they aren't. They are not. You can't. All right, I don't know how to explain it, but you can't say you are the magic and the other chick says she has the magic. That's stupid. Stupid. But then she just went on into a ramble. What the fuck question was asked there? Let's rewind it.
Specific capital. We are blessed to be able to live in the city where the capital actually is, and we.
I don't know what that means.
It's magical to be a black and a woman, especially here in America, and especially at the Capitol. We are blessed to be able to live in the city where the Capitol actually is, and we can come to participate places like this. So a friend of mine has a clothing line and made this jacket specifically for today.
So what does Black Girl Magic mean?
Black Girl Magic is just embracing who you are as a black woman, whether, different skin tones, your hair.
It's not like witchcraft or anything.
No, never.
So Black Girl Magic, according to this lady, is simply embracing who you are. That's magic. Why is the bar that low for that term, for that phrase? Why is it so low? And this goes right back into the theming of things that don't need a fucking theme. Living your best life, hot girl summer, all the other goofy ass terms that y'all made. It's literally just, how many pat on the backs do you need? How many? Literally just being yourself, that's magical. All right.
Please, let's end that rumor right now. But yeah, it's just embracing who you are, Yeah.
But somehow, everybody hates you, and I'm sure it's because you're so magical. They're just jealous of your magic. My bad.
So, obviously, one thing that police brutality is an issue, right? And we're trying to reduce that. But why do you feel like black men face it much more disproportionately, but men in general face more disproportionately. But why do you feel like blacks in particular face so much, why are they involved in the criminal justice system so much more disproportionately? Do you feel like it's all just racism, or do you feel like there's other reasons behind that as well?
I feel like it starts beginning by planting an idea in a mind. So people are raised up to believe that certain people are better than others. And so I personally have been pulled over so many times. My boyfriend is a victim of the system. Just because we're driving around somewhere, we'll get pulled over, and he can get taken to jail just because he has brown skin.
So literally,
I'm not going to say that there aren't bad people in very sensitive, important positions, etc. I'm not going to say that. But if we all were going to use these, self situations of, I was pulled over a lot and then I was taken to jail. Look, I've been pulled over a lot too. Half the time, most of the time, I don't get a ticket. Most of the time, they say, "Look, bro, fix whatever it is we pulled you over for. Fix it. Here's a warning." That's what happens most of the time I get pulled over. What do I do different that you all don't? Is it because what? Nobody doesn't know I'm black. I'm not one of those people you can mistake for white. So what is the reason that I don't get taken? I've never been taken to jail. But you apparently get pulled over left and right, and are always in handcuffs. Now, she didn't say always in handcuffs, but I'm just generally speaking about the people who make these claims of, my experience, this is how it always works. What do we do that's so different? Or what do the cops do that's so different?
In the police report, they write, brown skin, we're taking him to jail. What's the justification?
But basically,
there is no justification.
Well, what do they write down? They have to write down something.
This is what they do. That's why they have more prisons than schools, because they get you at a younger age, so you're in the system.
They have more prisons than schools?
Yeah.
Is that a fact? I don't know if that's true.
Whether it's a fact or not, when you leave your life, your livelihood, and so much of what goes into your livelihood under government control, you can have situations like this. If they need you to be in jail more than they need you to be in school, well, this is probably going to happen. Now, he asked if it's a fact. Maybe it's not. But even the idea of that, maybe that's why. I've said in a separate video, maybe y'all should think about homeschooling or something like that, or maybe making more of a neighborhood thing to educate your kids as opposed to public schools, because at that point you have a little more control. But I know you all don't want to let go of your comfortable lives, and you rather your kids risk going through a shitty system than, not go on a vacation or something. You people are awesome parents. Awesome.
Well, I mean, that'd be something worth looking into, right? But
we'll look that up. I don't think that's true.
I feel like it, but well, basically, if you.
So he just posted a stat and said it's not even close. Here's why I think people feel like there are more prisons than there are schools. For one, I'm sure our preacher somewhere started this shit, and he needed to get that collection plate up. One, two. You hear about them building a prison because it gets your ear, it gets your emotions going. You hear that. But when they're building a new school, nobody's going to make a fuss about it. Except me, because I know that that's coming out of my taxes. Which I should be able to opt out of it. This is stupid and annoying. I don't have kids. Why do I got to pay for the fucking school?
If you're put in the system at a young age, you're fingerprinted. As soon as you're fingerprinted, they're keeping track of you from the time until you die. So if you are in the system for even a minor offense, when they pull you over, they're still going to arrest you. My boyfriend got pulled over for no reason. He pulled over into McDonald's parking lot to make sure he was in the light and not.
But I'm trying to figure out why he was arrested. I
think it's just miseducation. This is historical.
Yeah, I've lost track, but I'm sure this is the same chick who said, personally, apparently she knows a lot of women killed by the police, and her boyfriend gets pulled over for no. Lady, who do you hang around? Dude, maybe it's you. Listen, I'm glad you're not in Michigan, because I would be terrified to cross your paths. Maybe I'd end up getting shot by the cops too. Who do you know? And what activities do y'all do? Damn.
This is from the beginning.
I mean, you could sue for a lot of money if you got arrested for.
He doesn't care about black people.
No, I mean, if you literally got arrested for no reason, they didn't write a reason down. If they just say you're in the system and it's not like you have a warrant out.
Yo, how telling is that? How telling is that? We go from one chick saying, "Oh, we're not included. We should be included more. We should be this and that. We should be given more." And they, to a degree, said something about the being given part. But then at the same time, you're saying that the same people, the same system, is willing to kill you. Why do you want to be integrated in this system? Why? I don't understand this. I seen the same shit happening in this presidential election. So many black people, brown people, everybody but white people saying we ought to see more of us intertwined in these positions and blah blah blah, and that is not racism. But it's the same people who's willing to kill you. You don't think that they're only doing this to maybe fuck with your mind and take your eyes off of what should be important? You don't think it will be better to, I don't know, focus more the black people, the black community that I really don't believe in? You don't think it would be better for them to say, hey, listen, we need to all come together and just do our own shit instead of trying to get their help? The people that are trying to kill us? No. It just takes a white dude in a suit to say, hey, black people, look what I did. See, I put a black people in that position. Don't you like that? You like that? And of course, yeah, we do. We absolutely do. You've got our trust. When in actuality, what the fuck has he done to this point? But he cares. He really does. He really does care.
The arrest. they literally can't arrest you. I don't understand the...
Well, that's the problem. That's why people are here. They can't arrest you, but they do it anyways.
I'm not sure if that's exactly...
I'm sorry, your experience is definitely different than everybody else.
Well, no, just legally speaking, that I mean, they at least...
It's wrong.
You can say they write down a bullshit reason, but you're saying they don't even write a reason.
No, I'm not saying they don't write a reason, but they can come up with just anything.
Sure, so I'm just wondering, in your particular case, like, what did they write down for him?
For him, they said that his registration wasn't up to date, but really he had got like one of those numbers so that he was taking care of his smog. So they towed his car and almost took him to jail. I had to come and stop them.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yo, did you really? You just spent how long saying for no reason, for no reason, for no reason? But in actuality, it was some funky shit going on, at least. His registration, even if you saying it's up to date, let's just take that as face value, as fact. But you say the little sticker small, obviously it's you're probably gonna miss that, maybe. Maybe that can be overlooked. You just said for no reason. But now you didn't give us a reason. This black people. Listen, when you keep doing shit like this, you ruin your case for anything. Because now there's so much bullshit attached to your case. It's like, this nigga lying. Come on.
They were going to take him to jail because he has a prior. Why does he have to go to jail? Because his registration's a little past. That doesn't happen to anybody else. Why does it have to happen to him? Why did they have to tow his car? And now he had to pay $800 to get his car out the impound for what? They found his ticket registration? Like, what?
So obviously there's...
Because they found the ticket. Listen, I'm not exactly the most... I don't really know a lot of these terms. So when she says priors, yes, I know it's like prior running into the law or something. But I don't know if she's talking about warrants. Because we already, as we know, this very same chick, will talk around and around and around and around and around and around to make her story seem way more legit than what it is. So maybe what really happened, they ran his plates. They found out the guy in the car not only had bad tags, but this nigga's really dirty. He's not just riding dirty, he's really dirty. Let's pull him over. We're going to arrest him. And then a story about you showing up before they arrest him to stop it or whatever the fuck you said. How close were you where he was able to call you and you got there before they arrested him and you stopped their arrest? Really? These people who are willing to kill you didn't go through with the arrest because you showed up. You are a fucking liar.
A lot of external things coming towards the black community. There's like, you could go through a whole litany of things. Do you think there's anything from within the black community that they could improve? Like whether it's, black culture or anything? What do you think?
I think so. Education, more prominent influence from males, positive males influence, There's so much we can do that we need to do.
I am really sick of this back and forth. You just said the one thing that can make it better, well, one of the things that can make it better is more influence from men, from males. Okay, cool. Fine. Cool. How many of y'all are willing to give up the access you have to men who aren't a good influence and only focus on and date those and mate with those who are a good influence? How many of you are willing to do that? Shut up. Stop bringing dudes into this who you don't really want into this. Stop. Your bullshit is your bullshit. You live with it.
That's why we have stuff like this.
But unity like this is what starts that. You know, you come together and you see that you have people that support you, and that needs to translate. I mean, honestly, it starts with the children, right? So starting with younger generations and educating them on their history, being proud of who they are, and also embracing the positive within the community.
It starts with the children, teaching them their history, embracing who they are. Okay, fine. How about this? How about, like I said, a lot of you don't focus on being career women. Follow me. Going somewhere with this is serious. But instead, you focus on finding the best males who can give you that community of that would allow you and other women, other like-minded women, to not only have the kids in a stable environment, meaning you're both in the home, not just, yo, we had a kid and now we're glorified babysitters. Now I can go do the fuck shit I want to do, and then so can you, and we'll just throw the kid back and forth. You don't do that. You actually have a stable environment, and you know you teach the kids stuff yourself. How about that? Would that fit what you're saying? Would that give the next generation of kids a really good start in life? Or do you feel a lot safer doing it the same way you've been doing it? That puts a lot of you in situations, and your kids in situations, where there isn't that prominent male there. Oh. Right.
And not focusing on the negative. But that's media in itself. For example, you're a foreigner. You come from foreign heritage, right?
I'm not a foreigner.
Your ancestors.
I was born here.
Okay. But when
I feel racially profiled against.
Let me ask you a serious question, though. When they depict your country or your ancestors' country on TV, majorly do they depict the positive, or do they depict the poor areas, the negative, and things of that nature? And answer that honestly. And I ask you this because I'm a foreigner myself. I'm from Nigeria.
Well, it's Iran, so not a lot of good press from there.
Exactly. But is there a lot of good? Have your people done a lot of good?
Not recently.
You're being
in the past.
Being biased, and I know you're trying to stick to a side.
I don't like the government there. Usually, when they speak about the people, they speak about them in very.
Embrace yourself. I do. I know this is being petty, but I seriously doubt that that's her hair that she's embracing.
Government is corrupt no matter where you are. I'm talking about your people.
Some governments are better than others.
Done, what they've contributed.
No, but usually when they talk about
the government is corrupt no matter where you are. But what they got to say about Biden and his black VP Kamala Harris? What about them? Huh?
People, I've heard very positive things. They talk about the historical culture. They talk about the Persian Empire and things like that. But when they talk about
what they depict, though, media, or do they depict the bad?
Well, no, because in contemporary times, what really matters is government relations between governments.
My point that I'm trying to make, which you're strategically trying to avoid, is the fact that the media will always depict the negative as opposed to the positive.
I absolutely agree.
And they do the same for your people.
So we should obviously focus on some of the positives that are happening also within the black community.
Exactly. And if more people were educated on the positive, they would have be prouder of who they are and embrace that. So
I mean, obviously.
Stop. I'm sick of this narrative. Yo, you need to put more images that I like on TV. Fuck you. I put what I want on TV. Again, why can't you teach your kids how great they are? Why not? How come you can't do that? Why do we need all these news places to do it for you? If your kids spent more time with you and not the fucking TV, it wouldn't be a problem. But no, don't actually fix the problem. Just change a little bit. I still want to do my bullshit. Me being the primary influencer of my kid is just too much fucking work. And it's too boring. I can't hit the club up and do this at the same time. I can't have several baby moms or baby dads if I gotta be the main fucking influence in my kid's life. Hell no. We gonna continue to do this back and forth glorified babysitter role and just give me somebody to babysit my kid when I push play and leave the house.
Violence is decreasing. You know, there's a recent spike recently, but I mean, the trajectory since like the 70s and 80s has been going down. You know, less black lives being lost. Also, record low black unemployment, which is, you know, really good as well. Don't you think there's a lot of positives that are happening right now within the black community?
Do you know what are the most educated or black women? There are more educated black women with master's degrees and so forth. But you don't hear that in the media, and yet in employment.
I heard about it.
Well, you know, you've clearly educated yourself.
So he put the statistic up. Here's the thing. When she said more master's degrees, more, she misspoke. The stat that was there, and the reason I know this, I believe this stat is more true that I'm going to say here is because it was on a few, it was used by a few black women who have platforms, one of them being Madame Noir. And Madame Noir, when they covered this topic, they said they used the phrase black women enroll in school the most, right? And it seems that black women are taking that and saying the most educated. Because I've seen several stats that said you actually don't lead the league in degrees. You don't. You really don't. Especially you being like 6% of the population. How do you, ladies, and I'm not trying to shit on you. We need to have, if we want to talk about these things, they need to be actually truthful. Right? But let's think about this. You're 6% of the population. Right? You got to subtract the ones of you who never go to school. You got to subtract the ones of you who go to school, then get knocked up and don't finish. You got to subtract the ones of you who, like this woman said, get killed by the cops all the time. You got to subtract so many of you. How the fuck are you the most do you have the most degrees? Now, let's change it to per capita. You still got to account for the same things. You mean to tell me the concentrated 6%, despite what we see every day, has the most degrees per capita? Yo, look, I've been to public schools. No. Y'all didn't overcome that. And I'm not saying that to shit on you. I'm saying that to be realistic. Because one of the problems with this is it allows you to talk so highly, like, oh, we're great, and we're good. This is why we're being that it feeds the underrepresented argument. And it's like, you're actually not underrepresented. Because according to the numbers, according to which the type of degrees you get and at the rate you get the degrees, you're actually quite well represented within the workplace. That's why we need to have a real conversation with real stats, real numbers. But let's look at the one he has on the screen. It says percent with a bachelor's or higher by gender, race, ethnicity. On the women's side, it has Asians with 55%, white 38%, black women 23%. You're not even the most educated woman. So how could you be the most educated at all? All right, let's keep it going.
But a lot of people wouldn't know that. they wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that a lot of black women are very educated. But we know we have to do that because we have to fight a little bit harder. And whether you want to believe it or not, it's fact. And history has proven that. So.
Hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell for future videos. So why are we out here today?
Because we're black and we're proud and we're black women and we're out here to support and trust black women. Black women, black mothers, black son. I'm here to support the black women.
So this is called the Black Women's March. You know, the Women's March happened, I think, in January or February or so. Why the difference there?
Because black women are different from other women of color. I mean, we can all still come together for women of color, but black women, we all have different issues, different things that we all have to still address.
And what are those issues specifically?
For black women, I mean, it's like, state-sanctioned violence. Black women are always putting other people.
Did she say state-sanctioned violence? Meaning as if the state says be violent to black. Let's go back.
Have to still address.
And what are those issues specifically?
For black women, I mean, it's like, state-sanctioned violence. Black women are always putting other people first, but not putting ourselves first.
Man. Bro, if you don't... You always put everybody else first and not yourself. The reason... The ones of you who do. But the reason the ones of you who become single moms is because you put yourself first. You put your desires first. You didn't think about the offspring. You didn't. You put yourself first. But in those situations, what it always ends up being is, I sacrificed so much for this kid who shouldn't even be fucking here. But that's just one example that I can think of off the top of my head that makes that statement a fucking lie. Look at somebody like Jamel Hill. Talk so much shit. Who she care about? Her fucking self. Black men, I notice black men don't agree with me. They don't want the same thing. What a shame. Does that sound like thinking about everybody else and putting them first?
So it's like we have to be here together just to support ourselves and trust ourselves and do what we have to do for us.
I did a video about a chick that supported Kamala Harris. A few months prior to that, yo, black men, I love you and we just need to do this and then. As soon as Kamala Harris get VP elected, fuck y'all niggas. If you don't like me gloating right now, you can unsubscribe. Cause fuck that, I'm doing me. Black girl magic. But what if this affects me as a black man? I don't give a fuck. Black woman VP. That's all I care about. But who the fuck is first in? Did you ever care? Did you ever care? Bernard Raleigh just did, a couple weeks ago, he covered the Isaiah Thomas thing where he said his mom didn't put his dad out the house basically because food stamps was better. It's better to get food stamps to him. But was it better for them to have their dad outside of the home? Who the fuck was put first there in every case like that? But you get to sit here and have this attitude of we just never think about ourselves. Never. Well, please give me an example. Please. Please. And when I say give me an example, I mean don't give me an example of you thinking about everybody else that's come from a decision you made, like the example I gave with the kids. Please exclude the examples in which your family went through some shit and you personally stepped up and did something. That's everybody can have an example of I personally within my very own family had this weird awkward thing.
And specifically, state-sanctioned violence, you're referring to?
Police brutality, you know, like what recently that Sarah.
Police brutality is not necessarily state-sanctioned. The state would actually have to say, hey, beating up black women is okay. You can't just say because a dude abuses power that is then state-sanctioned.
Bland or Erica Gardner, like all those type of people who risk their lives, but the police are out there just, you know, policing and, you know, causing more violence.
And why do you think that's primarily happening due to discrimination and racism generally, or do you feel like there's some deeper issues there?
Oh, hell yeah. It's always about racism and just the way how, especially like how black men look, how black women look. It's always about race. It is about race. Everyone's always say, take a colorblind lens. No, race always has to play a factor into those things, and it's just we're tired of it.
So you think it's like an irrational response? Because racism, I feel like racism by definition would just be something that's irrational, right? You're judging someone strictly based on their physical appearance or whatever.
Definitely.
So why do you feel like black women specifically are facing racism, you know, arbitrarily, but not like Asian women, for example?
It's history, predating all the way before we came here on the ship. It's always been black women versus other women. But I think at the end of the day, we still can all come together, but we all have.
Nigga, did you answer the question? Why don't Asian women get mistreated like this and black women do? History. It dates back. That's it? So because 300 years ago, they were used to mistreating you, so it's just a part of the program now. Oh, and by the way, we get the most degrees. Because, you know, they don't like us. Can y'all pick one? No system that's stacked against you. You know what? I'm sorry, I forgot. Black Girl Magic allows you to overcome all of the chips that are stacked against you. I keep fucking forgetting. So you are absolutely a victim that overcomes everything. Somehow still a fucking victim. Bro, can you imagine Superman complaining that everywhere he goes, every time he gets into a fight, somebody hits him with kryptonite? It's like, nigga, fly away. You overcome this shit all the time. You can fight fast enough to apparently rewind time. The fuck you want me to care about? It's the same feeling. You overcome everything. You gloat about it. No matter what you do, where you are a fucking queen. So what is there to care about? Where's the tragedy? Nobody can fucking touch you. Except they can, but they can't. They can't hold you down because you're always overcoming things. Dude, why do I care? Why should I care? I'm having a problem. Look, the last million times I've seen is you've overcome it. The fuck you want me to do now? Can I focus on the other problem so we can kill two birds in one stone? Do you have a problem or not?
Individual issues and structural issues that we all have to face. Yeah.
Do you think some of this could actually be done? Because is there a chance that it's not all irrational? Like there's going to be some nuance to it where it could be maybe like 51% discrimination, but it could be like 20% this, 20% that, you know, some economic conditions, or it could also be, you know, they're responding based on their perceived risk, based on, you know, statistical realities as far as, you know, blacks being responsible for more murders disproportionately.
I think it's always a structural issue. It does have to do with economics, racism, but I think at the end of the day, racism is at the top, and then there's branches coming down from that, and it's economics, social services, all kinds of things that are in place.
And how do we overcome that?
Trust black women. That's all I'm going to say. Just trust us. If you invest in us, we will help you, and we can make the...
Why do you need everybody else to invest in you? You're the most educated. You literally can invest in each other. And what the fuck? You're the most educated. You need us to invest in you still? If you've come this far without being invested in, and now you lead the world in education, do you still need investment? No, you fucking don't. Because I'm sure this means you've never had it, right? You've never had it. So why do you now need it when you are at the top? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fucking make sense.
Changes. That's all I have to say.
But I'm saying, if we're going up to cops, we can't just say, like, trust black women and then we solve the racism issue. Like, how can we take concrete steps to make sure we're moving in the right direction and improve race relations and, reduce oppression and things like that?
Honestly, sitting down and listening to other people's opinions. At the end of the day, if you sit...
She literally just restated it in another way. She said, just trust us. And rightfully so, he said, well, we can't just do things like, we can't just trust you. And then her response is, well, sit down and listen to me then, nigga. Then trust me then. That's what she just said. That's what she just said.
Down, take the time, get to know me, get to know my community. I think that's what solved the issue. If we all just talk.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say?
You gotta make sense when you talk, because otherwise talking is just pointless.
Black woman with a black daughter that's overspoken, highly outspoken. Really trust her, and we're just gonna keep on moving on and keep on pushing till one day it's gonna all be overcome.
If you had to bet,
keep doing the same shit till eventually, hey. I mean, if you stand there and you just keep kicking that wall, that big concrete wall, if you just keep kicking it with your Timbs on, some point it's gonna crumble, right? And that water is gonna burst through, and finally you're gonna be able to get to the other side, right? That's how it works, right? All right.
$1 million, when do you think that day would be?
Well, I don't have $1 million, so that day probably never
Until
gonna
45
come.
gets out of office.
45 until
45.
Trump. Okay.
Well, that's when it started, when it became
If you are here to
known
support a
that
black
racism
woman,
really
black woman,
exists is when he came into office.
Oh my God. Dude. Barack Obama. These police shootings, a lot of them happened under him. A lot of them happened under him. But it's Trump's fault? What do y'all watch? What the fuck do y'all watch, people? I don't get this. Do you really just hear people say Trump is bad, and then they show you a clip that may or not be right? How the fuck am I talking right now? May or may not be right. And you just go, yeah, that guy. I had a dude on Facebook. Me and him had a back and forth, and I asked him, like, yo, what is y'all issue with Trump? He's a piece of shit. How's he a piece of shit? He's racist. He won't rent out an apartment complex to black people. Really? This what y'all give a fuck about? A billionaire who may or may not be renting to black people? Really?
How so?
Because I never saw so many people being discriminated against until he got elected into the office. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow.
So basically Trump just hit the okay on the racist button, huh? Trump, please show me the speech where Trump got up there and said, yo, fuck these blackies. Fuck them. Like, let's go ahead and go on with that. Make America great again. Demonstrate on the motherfuckers. Discriminate. What the hell did I say? But y'all get my point. That's what happened. Yo, like, are you sure? Maybe that's when you started paying attention to it because you don't like Trump. So everything that you at that point noticed was Trump's fault. Everything bad, at least. Trump in office? I don't like Trump. Oh my gosh, a black man got shot. What the fuck, Trump? This is your fault. Come on, dude.
Do you think it's because it's actually happening more, or do you think it's just being exposed more because of, more social media presence, more cameras and things like that?
More social media. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Did you just admit that? Bro, get your mama off camera. What the fuck? That was just stupid. You just admitted you were wrong, and just really smoothly. How, dude? That's incredible. That is incredible.
Well, when it comes to systemic racism, one particular issue that I feel like most blacks are dealing with right now is being approved for housing loans. You could have the same criteria as someone else, but simply because you're black, you will not get approved for a housing loan, thus keeping you in your community that isn't, better.
Dude, are you fucking serious? Yo, they ain't gonna let me get a loan so I can get away from the rest of the black people. Oh, dude. Do y'all hear yourselves when y'all say this? I need a loan so I can get away from the rest of the black people. By the way, why do y'all don't like these black people I want to get away from? Oh my God, dude. She really said that. I wonder if she's going to recover and like backtrack, because that was a little sad. Black people, they need to stop discriminating against black people. By the way, one of the things that I don't like is that they won't give me money to get away from black people. Okay. All right.
So I think that's one form of systemic racism that they've even done studies on. That
her shirt seems to say empower women. Ladies, I need to ask y'all a question about this empowerment crap. Haven't y'all got enough? Haven't y'all got enough? Aren't y'all already like super empowered? Like, you literally can do whatever you want and nobody can say shit. And get a pass on. They can say, but they get the ass handed to them. Haven't y'all had enough? And honestly, what good is it empowering you if you only want to be empowered until you're 35? Then it's like, oh, I need to find me a man that can retire me. Oh, I need to find somebody that can sit me down. Oh, like, y'all kind of waste empowerment, honestly. Y'all can't wait till the biggest bank account come along that ain't yours. Why are we empowering you to do that? That's stupid. It's a waste of time. But seriously, you all have empowerment already. The fuck? You have it. Stop asking for it.
has come to surface. And yes, we are one of the, groups that are attending colleges more, but we have our own set of issues once we do attend college. So
I've also heard the sort.
You have you lead the world in degrees. So obviously the problems don't affect you, or they don't affect you enough. Unless your argument is, hey, if you lift all the problems, then we will just take over the world. Well, no shit that they keep you down then. How do you say they hate you and then they won't give you the shit to make you better than them? You are an idiot if that's your way of thinking. You are a fucking moron if you can't understand why that happens. That can't be your logic. And I'm going to say this again and just push play. Because I don't get it. Your logic is, we're great. They hate us. They keep us down. But we overcome it anyway. And I don't know why they won't just give us more shit.
reverse argument made that, you're saying because they're not getting loans, that's racism, based on the same criteria. But I've also heard that, during like the subprime mortgage crisis and stuff, they were giving out loans like candy to everybody. And they were saying because those were predatory loans and they were giving it out, to poor blacks and things like that, that was racism as well.
I don't really understand the reverse racism thing.
No, not reverse racism, because they were doing it specifically towards blacks and they were giving them these subprime loans. They said it was predatory lending.
I would have to do more research on that. As far as I know, statistically, it's still an issue, it's still a problem, and there have been statistics that show that black people are not receiving even business loans at the rate that other races are.
Do you feel like that's also due particularly because they tend to have lower FICO scores and just usually worse credit in general, and they usually don't have the same kind of home equity that other races do?
I think that statistically that hasn't been proven. It actually has been proven that they...
Oh my God, is she going to repeat the same thing? What the fuck? Listen, there's so much that goes into loans other than just simply they look at your score or something. There's a lot, like he just said, home equity. There's so much that goes into these loans. What do you have to put on the line? What kind of job do you have? Is there anybody else who can sign with you? We all know that shit. In fact, one of the reasons black people might not qualify for loans as much is because a lot of our parents, our moms, black women, said, hey, scribble your name on that document so we can get some cable. You know how much shit I had in my name when I turned 18 that had to be fucking paid off? My credit was horrible. And I didn't even use it. Everybody else used it. That might be a factor. And then she's focusing on rates in which each group gets them. Do you know what type of loans they are? Is it a refinance? Is it, I don't know, a reverse mortgage? I don't know a lot of these terms. But I do understand that there are different types of loans and reasons you take out loans. It isn't just necessarily, hey, I want a loan for a home and I have a job. What kind of job?
They have the same FICO scores as other...
Well, no, they do have lower FICO scores. But I know what you were saying. You were saying when they do have the same scores, they're still discriminating.
There's still a problem.
But there's also other factors, beyond scores like that, like the types of homes in certain neighborhoods that you might wanting to buy. It's not all super clear cut. But I understand what you're saying.
I do a little bit of research on these things, and just from the statistics.
Translation: I do just enough to make me feel good about my point and fuck yours. So there's that.
And different resources that I've seen, it has mostly to do with the color of our skin.
So when you see disparities, do you feel like the first thing is like that automatically comes to mind when there is a disparity between different racial groups? Do you feel like it's primarily due to racism, or do you think there could be other factors? And what do you think those other factors might be?
There's always other factors, but I do feel like since our time here in America, it has always been an issue. And I think that we have progressed, obviously, but there are just certain things that have been maintained, and unfortunately, they affect
black people. Fucking listen, dude. Yes, there are problems. I don't know what individual problems anybody has, but generally speaking, yes, there are problems. But a big reason that black people are still where they're at, black people, the violence, the baby having, the not focusing on any type of plan to bring the next generation up. Just do whatever the fuck you want. Things like that black people do. Keep black people where black people are, wherever the fuck that is. As I always do, to use myself as an example. If I want to, which I don't, I'm really lazy. But if I wanted to, I could bet on myself. Right? I could sell my car, sell my home, save up as much money as possible, and then become my owner-operator. Get me a truck. Start trying to make money that way. You know, that would start building a company or building wealth or whatever, right? I could do that. Now, would I be able to do that if I had a kid years ago? No. Because I'd be tied up into that thing. A huge part of why black people are where they are is because black fucking people. Of the immediate people I know, like I'm one of the better off financially, and I don't make shit. But I'm the only one without child. How? How does somebody who goes in and out of prison all the time, how does that person have 3 kids? How does the person in a similar situation have 2? How does another person in a similar situation have 2? Why are you having kids, and why the fuck are these chicks getting pregnant by these people? Black people are where the black people are because black people.
People at a higher rate than they affect everybody else. And
So for example, when it comes to murders, for example, blacks are about 51% of the murder rate, despite being about 12% of the population. And about, I think like 50% of the murders are, specifically black men. They're about 6% of the population. So do you feel like people are forcing them to commit the murders, or is that just like a problem within the black community that they also need to address?
obviously it's not anyone forcing people, but I also feel like I feel like the statistics that are out there are only focusing on one part of the population. I don't feel like it's focusing on the population as a whole. And I feel like if you focus in on other races and other groups.
That didn't make no fucking sense at all. If he's telling you this group of people commits 50% of all murders, how the hell do you respond with, oh, they're only focusing on some of the population? Unless you can find a way to prove that they're not focusing on all the murders. Well, they're not just focusing on you. Because that means 50% of the murders go to somebody else, right? Alright, but there are more than 2 races in America, aren't there? Alright, great.
You'll see the same statistics because generally people kill each other within the same races.
Well, yeah, that's true, but the thing is
we have a higher rate because our population is less.
But what the fuck? Dude, if you're not retarded, you immediately think she is. What the fuck was that? Half of murders committed by like 7% of the population, approximately. So 50% goes to the other 93%, and you respond with, "Oh, but yeah, maybe that 7% killed the other 7%, and that's why the number looks like half of all people." So yeah, like, come on, what the fuck?
And I feel like,
I'm saying of all the murders in the country, blacks are responsible for 51% of the murders, despite being 12% of the population. So if white people are, almost 70% of the population, they're only responsible for about, I think, like 46%, and that's if you're including Hispanics in there as well, under white people. So you don't think like blacks are disproportionately murdering people?
I don't, unfortunately. I feel like...
what are your stats? Like, what's your evidence?
I don't necessarily have stats, but I have read other statistics and things and research that shows that it's only focused on a certain population of blacks.
So I know what you were saying as far as...
Yes, that concentrated population of blacks are on record for half the murders, is what he's saying. Why do you keep repeating that?
Okay, if most races tend to kill each other. So, if blacks kill other blacks, the black on black crime is like 91%, whereas white on white crime, it's also pretty high. It's like 87% or something like that. But the numbers are different. So if you have, let's say, 1 million murders and 900,000 of those are blacks, and that's blacks killing blacks, that's 90%. But let's say you have 10 murders and 9 of those are white, and it's white on white, that's 90. They're both 90%. But you see, there's a big difference between 9 murders and 900,000 murders, right?
Well, I don't think honestly, I don't want to focus on murder and who's killing who. I feel like...
Since when? You just talked about it for 10 minutes. What are you talking about? Damn.
In the media, you can clearly see that black people are being arrested, murdered at the highest rate out of any of the other populations.
Isn't that because they're committing more of the crime, though?
I wouldn't say that's a fact.
The evidence.
Show me the statistic that shows that they're committing more of the crimes.
The FBI, the FBI reports, the actual conviction rates, also the crime victimization reports.
If you want to get into conviction rates, you can get into the convictions of all the innocent people that are locked up.
But you would certainly say that not most people
they're locked up at the highest rate, and they haven't been they've been proven guilty, but they end up being innocent. So,
but you would probably have to admit that like those pure innocence cases are a definite minority of cases, right? It's definitely not like over 50%.
I actually wouldn't argue that. I wouldn't argue that at all. I wouldn't at all. It's in the media. You see a lot of these verdicts and things being overturned because these people are being proven innocent, but they've been locked up.
A lot of? Dude, she probably saw 2, and one of them being on Dr. Phil and said a lot of. The fuck do you mean a lot of? You do realize that the media had a field day with racism, right? You don't think they would have put out, hey, Black Lives Matter. Guess what? About 23% of the cases from 1990 were overturned. You don't think they would have said that?
So it's like...
You think that's a majority of cases people are just purely innocent? They didn't commit...
I don't think it's a majority, but I think it's a high rate of black people locked up that are innocent. It's higher than any other race. I really do think that.
So why are we out here today?
Supporting black women. Black women matter.
Sure. So obviously this is called the Black Women's March. We had a normal women's march, I guess, before. Why the discrepancy? Why the separation?
Because if you leave it at just all lives matter, that's not all lives.
What the fuck? He didn't say that. He said women's march. Why separate black from everybody else? And you went with all lives matter. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out, because to me, that tells me her mind is immediately on it tells me she's going to reach for whatever she can to have a rebuttal, no matter what. 2 + 2 is 4. Yeah, but you got to think about the
have always mattered, but right now in our society and what's going on in our society, black men and women seem to be targeted, and we are the ones who are stepping up to say something right now. Okay, we've stepped up all along, all through history, but right now it's an...
Oh my, where? When? Did you step up and say, you know what, we're not going to take anything from you? Let our men out of prison? Did you do that? No. When? Prove me wrong. When did you step up in history? And this march is not stepping up. It's you having a fucking picnic. It's not stepping up. Do not count this.
another movement, and we're stepping up to say black women matter, black lives matter. So that's the difference.
And what are some unique challenges that face the black community, specifically black women in particular?
Oh, there's always discrimination. There's discrimination in the color of your skin, light, brown, dark. There's discrimination in your hair, if you're wearing braids, if you're wearing natural hair, if you're wearing silk hair, if you're wearing weaves, if you're wearing anything. We stand out. And I know we're blessed because the Lord's blessed us with this melanin for us to be black women. But we do get targeted. They say that black women are angry.
Look at that sequence. God blessed, not you. He didn't bless you, nigga. He didn't bless you. He blessed us. Ha ha. We got the shit. Yeah. Why do people target us? You don't say. You got the good shit, right? Dog eat dog world. What do you think's gonna happen? You got the good shit. The people want it. This is incredible. It's fucking incredible, dude.
There's a lot for us to be angry about, but most of all, black women are passionate, and we're the most compassionate people on the face of this earth. We have accepted and
the most compassionate people on the face of the earth. Are y'all passionate about not being single moms? This is the problem when you do this. This is the problem. Again, black people, stop just shouting shit. Speaking into existence is not real. It's not fucking real. You just look stupid when the shit works against you. You're the most passionate group of people on the face of the earth. Are you passionate about not being single moms?
accepted the apologies, and sometimes there weren't apologies for all the things that has happened to us as black women, our black men, our black children.
And it's on the progress front, do you think like things are getting better or we're regressing? What do you see right now and going forward?
Right now, I see what Trump is trying to do as far as walls. He's built up, and they aren't the material walls, but they are those walls that are in people's hearts and people's minds. So they feel they are emboldened that they can come out and start calling you N-words, start treating you differently.
Which actions from him?
I can't wait on to answer that question. What about Trump made people want to be the terrible people that they are? I can't wait on this answer. Well, I am waiting while I'm talking shit, but people, y'all, if Trump has as much control over, if the government has as much control over people, why would you want it to be any bigger than what it is, and why would you want it to be this big at all? I don't understand these arguments ever. Trump, government bad, but we need to continuously, just embrace the government. Support the government. As long as they agree with me. Don't y'all want to take some shit back from the government if this is a problem?
Specifically, do you feel like are bringing that out of people, specifically towards like black women, for example?
All the things that he doesn't do, when he doesn't stand up and say that in Charlottesville, when it should have been, you had Nazis that were protesting. Call it like it is. Don't say, oh, everybody is to blame. No, call it like it's supposed to be. When Trump has, I I know he thought he was doing a great thing. Oh, I'm going to pardon Johnson.
I was going to ask you about that.
You're pardoning a black dead man. Pardon black alive men. Pardon them. And Kim Kardashian?
I don't want to hear this shit. You want him to pardon black alive men? How about y'all support black alive men? Y'all want to go on all these marches and go do all this bullshit when a dude gets shot. What about the dudes when they're alive? Or do y'all only want to support the dudes that get y'all the most notoriety?
I don't know where her platform stands. I'm a retired prison guard. You can talk to me about who's in prison and who needs to and what's the reforms and things about it. What does she have? What's her husband? Kanye? Cuckoo man.
So being a prison guard makes you a specialist on what should be reformed and who should be in prison. And you don't think that when people are in prison, they kind of learn the tactics to, to fool you, for lack of a better word? I wonder how many of them she slept with. Because for her to be this delusional, it had to be quite a few. Had to be.
And I'm sorry, tell it like it is. But yes, he doesn't represent us. No, she doesn't either. She's not a black woman. And he said he wanted to get our vote. And yes, come talk to us then. Not.
So black man doesn't agree with me. Doesn't have a black woman. Doesn't represent us. That really? That immediately disqualifies you from representation of black people? But what if you're right, though? Oh, and what do you have to say about the woman who wants the loan to get away from black people? Are you ready to kick her out of that march you're at? I know this is past tense, but you ready to dismiss her too? Again, this idea of if you don't do exactly what we want you to do, you just consider yourself exonerated. How can I give a fuck about you? You don't care about me. You care about you. How can I care about you?
Kim Kardashian and her cuckoo bipolar husband Kanye.
Well, specifically to the pardoning of the woman, do you feel like that
Alice Johnson?
Yeah, do you feel like that was a overall positive thing or a negative thing? And why do you think like President Obama didn't take more action during his presidency to do things like that?
President Obama had his hands tied in every single matter that he did. He was getting opposition from the House Speaker. He was getting opposition from the Republican Party from the time he started. From the time he started, from day one, they said they were not going to work with him. So you wonder, how did he get all the things accomplished that he did do? So I'm going to give him praise, honor, and all the respect for getting all the things done that he got done, and not try to belittle something that he didn't get done, because his hands were tied the whole time he was in office.
Well, pardons specifically, I mean, they don't need congressional approval. They can do that single-handedly, like Trump did.
Even a pardon, Obama was going to get opposition from. If he would have pardoned anyone, he was going to get opposition. How about, what if Obama said reparations for black people, for the slavery that we were in? How about that? Do you think he would have got opposition to that?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, of course.
I think Trump would too if he asked for that, but I don't know.
Let's see. Why don't he do it then?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't agree with it. Maybe opposition. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Why not? You're giving everybody else some compensation, from the Indians to the Japanese to the Armenians to the Germans to.
Again, people, when the government gives anybody anything, it has to come from you first. Again, if you just opt, like people like me want to do, get on our bandwagon so we can have the numbers and say, government, fuck off. This tax bill is ridiculous now. The most you're going to be taking from any individual is 10% or whatever the number we can come up with. But we're not with you taking money and spending it like this. We're not for it. We're only willing to have this tax bill for the absolute necessities. Then we won't have these problems. But no, just keep giving us, I guess what you think is free money. Yeah, the people who oppose it have a right to oppose it if they're taxpayers, because the money is going to have to come from them. Unless they're giving black people money, which then wouldn't be reparations. It would be redistribution of money within the black community. And fuck y'all, I'm not doing that shit.
Everybody, but us.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just Black Lives Matter, Black women's lives matter, and I love my black people. I love America, and I pray that we can all get together and get along, and positive things will come out of this.
All right, guys.
Think about what she just did. Black lives matter, black women's lives matter. Did she just forget that black men's lives matter? Because if it was included in the black lives, then wasn't black women's lives included in there? Dude, count me out. Whatever you want to think of count me out for, that's it. That's it. Count me out of that.
That's going to be the end of the video.